Welcome everyone, you are listening to EJ Stories. If you like stories that will keep you up all night, then please like, share with friends, and subscribe to our channel. Are you ready for true horror? Let's go.
You've probably heard the phrase "saved by the bell," but you might not know it's more than just a saying. In the 1800s, people were so afraid of being buried alive, something that actually happened more than you'd like to believe. They started building safety coffins. These had little bells above ground, connected to a string tied around the wrist of the buried person. If the dead woke up underground, they could ring for help. It's true, and in some places, like an old cemetery just outside Charleston, South Carolina, a few of those graves still exist. It was Halloween night, 1996. High school senior Carla and her 3 friends were looking for something scarier than haunted houses or corn mazes. Carla had read about the old dead ringer graves in a library book and convinced the group to sneak into the cemetery after dark. "It's not breaking in," she said. "It's research." Armed with flashlights, disposable cameras, and a Ouija board for extra drama, the teens climbed the fence just after midnight. The cemetery was ancient. Spanish moss hung from trees, like ghosts frozen mid-scream. Most of the headstones were cracked and tilting, and near the back, just like the book described, were 3 graves with small rusted bells mounted above them. "That's it," Carla whispered. "These are the safety coffins." They laughed nervously, took pictures, tried to ring the bells. None of them moved. Time and weather had rusted the mechanisms solid. Then one of them said, "Let's try the Ouija board." They set it up right there on the grave of Nathaniel Hawthorne Black, one of the dead ringer graves. Then Carla asked out loud, "Is anyone out there? Can you hear us from the grave?" There was a moment of silence, and then suddenly the planchette started moving around the board fast. Then it stopped. Again, nothing. Then there was a low whisper. "Hello? I'm awake. Can you hear me? Please, dig me up." They froze. Luis, the skeptic, laughed it off. "Man, Carla, you play too much. Nobody can survive being buried that long." But then they heard it, a single, tiny ring from one of the bells. They all went silent. Then, the bell attached to Nathaniel's grave was ringing, violently, as if someone was yanking it from below. They bolted. Luis dropped the Ouija board. Mia fell and scraped her arm on a headstone, screaming as she scrambled back up on her feet. Behind them, the bell kept ringing. They didn't talk about it afterward, pretended it was a Halloween prank gone wrong. Teen drama, overactive imaginations. But Carla knew what she saw and what she heard, because every Halloween at 12:03 a.m., the exact time they'd used the board, a bell would ring outside her bedroom window. When she would check, there would be nothing there. No wind chimes, no neighbors outside. Just that same sound, soft at first, then louder. Then a soft whisper calling out to her, "Please dig me up." Carla moved away the next year, left South Carolina. She's glad she doesn't hear the bell or whispers anymore at night. So if you hear a bell on Halloween night, don't look back. Some graves were built to let the dead ring for help. That doesn't mean you should answer.
I've never told anyone this. Not really. I was too young to understand it at the time, and by the time I was old enough, everyone involved was either dead or missing. But what happened to me and my mother in 1907 up in the Appalachian Mountains still keeps me awake most nights, and I'm nearly 80 now. My name is Elijah Cotter. Folks used to call me Eli. I was just 4 years old when my mother took me to a place called Black Hollow. We had nowhere else to go. My father had just died in a mine collapse, and Mama had no money, no family. The only thing she could find was a rotted-out farmhouse up in the hills, abandoned for decades, way out in Clay County, Kentucky. People in town warned her not to go up there. That house ain't right. Never was. Last folks that lived up there vanished. But we had no choice. The house looked like something out of a nightmare. Windows broken, porch sagging, moss growing on the inside walls, and the woods around it. They didn't sound right. There were no birds, no crickets, just silence. From the first night, things were wrong. Lamps blew out after midnight. I remember hearing footsteps overhead, but we didn't have an attic, and every morning Mama found muddy footprints inside the house. They weren't mine, and they sure weren't hers. That's when I started seeing her. She was tall, dressed in black, her face hidden by a veil. And every night at exactly 3:17 a.m., she'd appear at the foot of Mama's bed. She never moved, just stood there, dripping wet, like she'd just walked out of the creek behind the house. Every night she whispered the same thing. "Give him back." Mama told me it was just a dream, but I knew better, because I talked to her in the daytime too. I called her Miss Annabelle. The night before it happened, Mama tried to leave. She hitched up the mule and packed our things. But right before dawn, the mule broke its leg, snapped like a dry stick, just collapsed in the yard. That morning, Mama said I disappeared. I don't remember anything except for Mama shouting my name and shaking me. Mama said she found the cellar door wide open. She didn't even know we had a cellar. She went down there with a lantern and found me, sitting in the corner, wide-eyed, rocking slowly in a chair. Behind me, scratched all over the walls, were the same 3 words, "She takes boys." And on the ground, bones, dozens of tiny bones, stacked like firewood, dolls made of twine and teeth. Some still had hair. We left that day, never looking back. The house was torn down in the 30s. Nothing left now but stone steps and some scattered bricks. But hikers say they still hear it, that old rocking chair. And sometimes, if the fog's thick enough, people hear a whisper, "Give him back." Some places aren't haunted. They're hungry, and they remember.